Hello, welcome to Saber Tarot, and I'm Singe Saber, your host. Today we are doing a very somber reading talking about the Astroworld Music Festival and that tragedy that's happened this week, and this is dedicated to those who have lost their lives in that tragedy, as well as the friends and family of those people, as well as all of the people who are injured. And there's still a young boy who's in critical condition right now. So this is just a terrible tragedy that could have been prevented. And so today we're going to be talking about that, as well as dispelling some of the conspiracy side of this and just addressing it as a whole, and the readings will let us explore a little more of the details about this. And that's the intention going in, just to understand and to explore some of this, because I think that the conspiracy theories always have a little grain of truth in them, but a lot of times they miss the mark, and they mix truth with fiction. And the symbolism is what I think tends to be accurate in a lot of these conspiracy theories, but I do not think that ultimately it is accurate, that the truth is somewhere in between the actual events, which are reported in the news, and the symbolism which the conspiracy theories tend to grasp at. And of course, I do believe some of the conspiracy theories in general, not just about this event, do hold truth in them. So I'm not going to discount all of them, but I do think a lot of the ones that go viral and get popular are based on delusion. So in this particular conspiracy theory, a lot of what I saw was saying that it was a demonic ritual, a satanic ritual, and that Travis Scott was sacrificing or stealing souls either to be initiated into some sort of Illuminati organization, or he was paying it forward to his mother-in-law, Kris Jenner, for her birthday. And I just want to come on the record and say I do not believe in those, and I don't think the tarot is showing that. And what I do think the tarot is showing, and again, you can look at the beginning of this video for the reading if you would like to pause and take a closer look at the Osho Zen Tarot reading. And the reason I like to use this deck a lot, and specifically for this reading, is because we can see a lot of the spiritual meaning there. And so I do think that sacrifice is a symbolic thing. And we can look at it from two aspects, that there's this whole rager aspect of a very raucous party crowd breaking down the barriers and rushing in. And I'm not going to put any blame onto the crowd specifically, even though you can have your personal opinions about that. And I do think that the energy of the crowd and the energy that Travis Scott had awakened in them and brought out of them, both with his music and his message that he sends, is definitely a part and a factor of this. And then the other factor being that there was really bad planning when it comes to crowd control, as well as security and medical assistance. And we can also see there was not good planning with the fire department. But that's not the point. The point here is we are looking at the spiritual meaning and what we can understand this as a society. And so what the commonality here is just like in society, which has a lot of negative people, difficulties, people arguing and pushing up against each other, not working together, a lot of selfishness. So that's the thing we could say that the crowd shared in common with society. A lot of selfishness, a lot of people not working together. And of course, in the tragedy, the heroes do emerge and a lot of people are out there helping. And then the other thing we can take a look at is the organization. So society right now is not organized very well. There's a lot of inequality. There's a lot of people against each other, as we can see with the two political parties. And so I do think that that's the metaphor right there, that this event was a little bit of a microcosm of the larger macrocosm of society. And we can see, first of all, here is what we're coming from. The energy is still present for sure, but this is representing the pandemic and people coming out of that with a lot more energy, anger, and difficulties. And you can see this actually looks like the stage with the lightning striking, people falling in the fire, and it looks like the mountain is on the stage. Another thing that the tarot is talking about is people will behave very differently when they're in this sort of setting. So that can lead to the perfect storm of the crowd just going crazy, the countdown, that there is a very much a lack of human decency and caring, and that there's also a lot of projection with this sort of artist, that people want to feel a certain way and to get rid of their sorrows. And here's another one which I think is very much to do with this. So look at this as a reverse card of understanding. And I want to say I'm not a fan of Travis Scott. I have enjoyed some of his songs in the past. I don't know if I'll be able to enjoy those going forward. But you can see that these are the birds representing the people who have lost their lives or the victims, and they are pushed up against a barrier here. But also what this card represents of understanding is that people go to art for a lot of different reasons. This type of music is very much a party, escapist kind of vibe of, and I understand that. Have liked a lot of that music in the past, and I'm a rapper myself. I understand a party song. So there's no judgment there. That's just one of the factors. And people are seeking to have a kind of an out-of-body experience. A lot of the imagery here was very demonic, though. You know, it wasn't this positive kind of ritual. It was a getting out of the mind, and it's the outcome of just this darkness in the mind, that the sorrow turns into crazedness. And a lot of this has to do with the planning of the event, in my opinion. But when we look at the tarot cards, they're really focusing on what this means symbolically, and that the sorrow within people has transformed into an inner turmoil and rage, and just this lack of caring, and feeling conditioned into not being a part of things. And that's why these sorts of events can be so important, because people are going there seeking to find connection and to feel a part of something larger. And this is a very important card here. This is in the card of how people see themselves in this situation, and this is transformation, obviously. But the scary thing about this card is, in the regular tarot deck, this would be the Death card. So, I mean, that's a lot to unpack there. This event represents our sorrow has grown so intense, and our sadness and our disconnection from each other has grown so intense that even a celebratory concert is going to bring out the darkness of the mind and the thoughts, and running away, escaping, and feeling alone and a part of something at the same time, to seeing yourself reflected in this sort of music. And again, there's nothing wrong with the music itself, but it's what it represents. And this is really not to put any blame on the people in the audience. Just doing this reading and thinking about it, it brings up a lot of emotion in me, and it's difficult. And it honestly is a little hard to focus on it, because I feel this sense of foreboding, this heaviness, and this falling, and the people falling in these mosh pits, and some of them never getting back up. So our guidance out of this as a society, because this represents a larger problem, we need to get grounded back to the earth. And you'll find this message again and again in my readings. Grounded back to the earth. And again, the blame is not placed on any individuals, but it's the energy of this whole entire thing, from Travis Scott to some of the more negative people in the crowd. You know, there was people dancing on top of emergency vehicles, all the way up to the top of the organization and the government not being involved enough. It's just really a huge mess, and you can't pinpoint it down to one thing. And so that's another symbolic thing about this. It's the same with society. So many problems in our society, so many places where we can point the finger, and unfortunately people do get trampled underneath, and it's just a sad, heavy thing, and it's difficult to do a reading about this, but I'm glad to be able to, and to understand it on a deeper level, because it's important. And the intention is to understand this sort of event, what it represents, you know, the black mass, the black Sabbath aspect of it. Of I, as much as a lot of these other people, have been intoxicated at concerts and wanting to have a good time, and I've had amazing times at concerts like that, and it's just a horrible way to die, because it's supposed to be a fun night where we can kind of just give ourselves up and lose ourselves to the experience. And so sometimes it just feels a little meaningless. So thank you for listening to my rambling thoughts. I know this kind of went all over and was not similar to one of my normal readings. I feel emotional reflecting on this event, and I didn't expect to feel so emotionally reactive to looking at these cards and thinking about it. But I see it, and I feel that you can probably see it on my face and feel it in my demeanor. It's just a heavy subject, because music is dear to my heart, concerts, and it's hard to even understand. I thought I understood it, and I don't think it represents anything good at all. So I think we need a reality check. We need to organize better with each other as a people and within our own lives, and again, reforge that connection to the earth. So thank you for listening. If you enjoyed that, you can check out some of my other readings over here. Blessings to all of you, and I hope you have a beautiful day or night.